In this video, I'm gonna show you how to draw a mysterious tarot card using Procreate features. We will first create a frame, then draw a cat's head, and finally add more geometric elements and textures. Before we begin, you can download the tutorial files below this video free of charge, and if you are ready, let's get started. Let's go ahead and create a new canvas by clicking on this plus button in the corner. I will choose a 2000 by 2500 pixels canvas. It's optimal for posting on Instagram. Today's palette has only 4 colors, plus black and white. In addition to that, I've made a set of custom brushes specially for this tutorial. You can get it along with a color palette and halftone overlay image via the download link in the video description for free. If you enjoy my free brushes and YouTube videos, you may also want to check out my Patreon page, where you will find many more brush packs and exclusive video tutorials. The link to it is also below this video. With that being said, let's start creating our design. It'll have a shape of a witchcraft card that normally has the ratio of the sides approximately 5:7. So we can create a rectangle with the dimensions of, let's say, 1750 by 2450 pixels. In Procreate, we can do it this way. Go to Selection, pick Rectangle, outline a rectangle of any size. Then pick black color from the color disk. I'll just double tap here and enable color fill. Now we can deselect it and resize. So let's click on this arrow, which works for transformation, and then tap on one of the corners. Here we can enter the dimensions. But first let's remove this link. In the first bar, I will type 1750. And in the second one, it'll be 2450. We can now move it. And if you go to snapping, enable snapping in the settings, then lower distance and velocity, we can center it. I will just start dragging it carefully to see the yellow intersections. Now it is centered, and we can work inside the shape. So let's add a nice frame that will make the design look more like a card or poster. We'll need a new layer for that. Let's create it above the current one. To make it faster and look symmetrical, let's use Procreate Symmetry tool. Today we're gonna use it a lot in different modes. But first let's activate it. For that we need to go to Actions, Canvas, and tap on Drawing Guide. Then go to Edit Drawing Guide and go to Symmetry. Let's now open Options, pick Vertical, and enable Rotational Symmetry. We also need to make sure that assisted drawing is turned on. Since we have black canvas, we may need to change the color of the grid to be able to see it. So I will just move the slider to the right to make it lighter. Now it is ready. Let's click Done and start working. I will go to the color palette and grab color 3. Then also go to the brush set and pick Square Line. This brush works similar to monoline brush, but instead of circles, it has squares on the sides. Let me set the size to 5% and draw the first line for the frame. It'll be a vertical one. Let me tap on the canvas to make it vertical. And then we need to connect them. So I will draw horizontally and then match the corners. It is ready. So let's go back to Symmetry. And in the options, I will switch to Quadrant. Remove Rotational Symmetry. I'll start drawing from here and make a line going down, tapping on the canvas to make it perfect. From here I will draw an arc that'll go to the left. Tap here to match it. Let me switch back to brush. And from here, I will draw a horizontal line but make it shorter. Also tapping on the canvas. And from here I will draw another short arc. Then a horizontal line again. Tapping on the canvas. Let me move it a bit. All we need to do is match these two lines with a big arc. So I will start drawing from the grid and match it with a line. Now it's ready. Let's go back to the brush set and select circles. The size is set to 2%, and we just need to tap on the corner. It'll appear in all 4 corners. Now I'm creating another layer and selecting star 1. It's a stamp. I'm tapping here, activating snapping instead of magnetics, and centering it. We can now duplicate the layer, go back to transformation, switch to magnetics, and slowly drag it down to put it here. Now the frame is ready, we can merge all the layers. In the next step, we will draw an animal head that will be in the center of the composition. I took inspiration from my own white cat, whose name is Snow. You might have seen him in a few videos. Also, witches, magic and tarot cards are often associated with cats. But of course it can be a wolf, a dog or some other animal. So let me create a new layer. And for now I will select white color. I'll go to the color disk and double tap on the white area for that. Now from the tutorial brush set, let's grab Outlines brush. Set its size to 7%. Also we need to switch from quadrant to vertical symmetry. So let's go back to Canvas and click on Edit Drawing Guide. Then go to Options and select Vertical from here. I'll activate Assisted Drawing, but no rotational symmetry needed. Let's just click Done. Let me draw the first arc for the top of the head. It'll go a bit down. Then I will draw another one at the bottom. But I'm not connecting them. Drawing a big ear. It goes to the side. Adding a curve inside the ear. And a few more for the fur. Let's draw a big eye. It'll go a little up, and then I will draw the lower half of it. And paint the iris. Let's add a couple of arcs on top of the eyes. And after that draw a simple nose shape. That'll go a bit down. And 2 arcs. We can now draw the whiskers that go to the side. Let me zoom in and add a few more arcs under the eyes. For the wrinkles. Now let's go to the layer and invert to make the outlines black. To see it, I will lower the opacity of the background. And after that create a layer under the outlines. Let's go back here and set it as reference. Now I'm on the new layer. Go into the color palette and selecting light violet color. We can just drag it inside the shape. And I will slide to the left. After that fill the eyes too. Let me fix a few imperfections on the outlines. I want to make the irises bigger. Let me just paint it. Then I will fix the nose shape and add 2 more lines. Let me also make the lashes wider and a bit longer, like this. Now I like it better. Just fixing this part at the bottom, and now it is fine. We can bring back the opacity of the background. After that, create a layer under the head to draw the crown. For that I will select orange color number 1. Let's continue using vertical symmetry. We can activate it right in the layer. So let's open it, then tap on the empty space here, and select Drawing Assist. Also, we can now remove reference feature from this layer. Going back here, let's use the same brush as we used on the cat, but lower the size to 5%. First I will draw 2 lines here, right above the head. Let's make it a bit wider. It will be the base for the crown. We can even use a razor that is set to the same brush and adjust it a little, like this. Now I like it. We can continue drawing more shapes. So I'm switching back to brush. Let's just draw an oval here. We can edit this ellipse. Then I will draw a smaller one inside it, at the lower half. We can also edit this one. And after that I will draw 2 smaller shapes looking like triangles. So I'm making a line here, then an arc, and connecting it. Let's fill the shape right away. If it's not filling properly, you may need to slide to the sides. This way adjusting color drop threshold. Alright, this shape is ready. We can just outline it. So I'm going to freehand, doing it this way, and tapping here. Color fill is turned off. We just need to select copy and paste. Let's now click on the arrow. I'll move it to the side, remove magnetics, and also no snapping. Let's transform it uniformly and rotate clockwise. I will drag it to the right, like this. We can rotate it even more. So I will put it here, then duplicate this one. First flip it horizontal, and after that enable magnetics. So we can now drag it to the left. I'll do it carefully and follow the blue line. Just put it here. Now we can connect the shapes. Actually, I will first merge these layers, so we can apply color fill later. I will draw an arc. Let me adjust it a little bit. I will just make it even. And then draw another arc. Try to make a parallel line. We can actually wait a second and then edit the arc. So we will get this. Let's now drag the color here and also adjust color drop threshold. If there are still some tiny gaps, we can fix them manually by painting. Now these are ready. We can draw a few more elements. here, and in this gap. Alright. In these spaces, I will draw a shape looking like a tulip. So first let's make a small arc, then a triangle, and then it'll go up with a few curves. Hit into more on the sides. Here I will draw something resembling a water droplet. Now we can draw another shape here on top. So I will skip some distance and start drawing like this. Let me make it more round at the bottom. And after that I will draw an oval inside it. Let's make it rather big. We can paint these areas. I think I will use a eraser, just to make it even bigger. Alright, switching back to brush to draw two shapes on the sides. Actually, I will draw only one, and due to the mirror, it will be reflected on the opposite side. Let me start from here and make a shape like this. Let me also fix it. I don't want to make it too wide. Okay. Then I will just draw two more shapes. They will go down, like commas. Now we can outline it in freehand. And also copy and paste. Let's scale this one. I will turn off magnetics for now, so we can rotate it and match it with a small shape. I also scaled it. So I will put it here. We can even switch to freeform and make it a bit more narrow. I think it looks better this way. It just needs to follow the symmetry grid. Now we can duplicate this layer, flip it horizontal. After that, activate magnetics, because we turned it off, and also drag it. It matched perfectly. Now we can just go ahead and merge these layers for the crown. Now that we have the character head, all we need to do is add more geometrical elements around it. And to do it easily, there is a variety of brushes in the bundle that we can use. I just want to fix the ears first, make them less curvy. I will first make this layer symmetrical, then select these two, and from adjustments I will pick Liquify. Set it to push and make the size low. I will stretch them. I think now it is better. Let's now create a layer under the crown. And also grab this bluish color. It's number 4. Here we can go to calligraphy and select monoline. We just need to pick the correct brush size. I think around 2% is fine, something between 2 and 3. But instead of symmetry, I want to use perspective. Let's go to activate it in the canvas. For that we need to go inside the Edit Drawing Guide section. And as you can see here, there is perspective option. I'll tap on it. And here it says tap to create vanishing points. We will have only one. So I will just tap here inside the cat's head, somewhere in the center. But we also need to consider the crown. So it'll be somewhere here. You will see these rays. If you like, you can also change the color of the drawing guides to see them better. I will also make them white. OK. Clicking Done. It's not activated yet, so we can draw a circle. I'll tap on the canvas so it makes perfect. And after that we can scale it. Let's make it smaller, so we have more space around it. We can now go to transformation and switch from magnetics to snapping. Put it this way. Now we can go back to the layer and activate Drawing Assist. So now we can follow the perspective. I'll be doing this. Start drawing lines from the circle. And follow each ray. I will move down. And outline them all. I will try not to cross the circle, so it looks clean. Also, when drawing these lines, you don't have to wait, just do it fast. Otherwise, Drawing Assist won't work, and your line will go straight. Let's finish it on this side. Just a few lines left. The last one. And that's it. I will remove the drawing guide for now. Now let's go to Eraser, then to Airbrushing, and pick Soft Brush. We will use it to create the shadow around the head by erasing these lines. Let's also remove Assisted Drawing. Increase the brush size. Around 13% is fine. And I will start erasing the lines. This way. We can make the size a bit lower. Work on the areas around the ears and around the crown. So it'll look like a shadow. Let's make it gradual. And now I think it is enough. And before we continue drawing more geometry, I want to work on the head, just to finish it and never come back to it. So I will go back to this layer with the head, create another one above it, and use this blue color. I want to apply a halftone texture on it. It can be found in vintage set from Procreate. This brush is called Honey Eater. And of course we need to clip the layer to keep the texture inside it. I'll set the size to 6% and apply it carefully on the ears, on these parts. And I'm not using Drawing Assist. It doesn't have to look symmetrical. I will just make a stroke on this ear, then on this one, and go slightly down on the head. It will be enough. Let's not overdo. We can now also select this violet color number 2. Go back to our brush set and pick a star brush number 2. We can even add one more layer for it, so we can move it. This is too big, so I will lower the size. Can be set to 5 or 6%. Then I will tap on it. And also move, placing it in the center of the forehead. We can now switch to freeform transformation. I will remove snapping and just stretch it down, like this. Now this part is totally ready. Let's go here to the frame and create a layer above it. This is where we will place more geometrical objects. Let's keep using this color. And from the same brush set, pick another brush. It will be this one with rectangles. We just need to make the size low. Let me try it. Can be set to 4%. And I will make a horizontal line consisting of 6 lines. Wait in a second. And we can also tap. You can stretch it to the sides like this. We can now go to transformation. Also enable snapping, so we can center it vertically. I will move it up like this. Put it very close to this arc. Now I will duplicate it 2 times. Switch from snapping to magnetics again. We are using many tools today, so I think it will be very useful. I will drag it slightly down, duplicating once again, and moving this one down too. I will just try to keep the same distance between the lines. We can now merge them, just to reduce the number of layers, and create one more. Now I will switch to square line, but we need to make it the same thickness. Let me try it. I think it can be a bigger size, like 7%, or maybe even 8%. I will draw a line here. Also tap on the canvas, so it goes straight. And I will match it with the edges of the previous lines. Let's now also duplicate it twice. Magnetics is still active. And I will drag the line down. Do it once again. Let's go ahead and merge all the layers. This is what we will get. We can now add one more layer and draw a rectangle. The fastest way to do it is to use selection in rectangular mode. Let's outline a rectangle like this one and click Color Fill. Now go to Transformation and select Distort. Magnetics is still active, and we can drag it down like this to create a small angle. I will also move it. Switch to snapping and match it with this yellow line. Just move it up. We can also make it a bit more narrow, like this. Then I'll duplicate the layer, flip it horizontal, set to magnetics, drag it to the right, and match it with the first shape, like this. I'm not merging these layers yet because we may need to use one of the shapes later. Instead, I will create a new layer, change the color into number 3 from the palette, and using square line, draw another circle. The brush size is set to 4%. We can start drawing it, then wait a second and tap on the canvas. Now we can scale it. Then click on the arrow. Check if the snapping is activated. And also make sure distance and velocity are low. So now I will start moving it. And it will be centered according to the previous circle, like this. We can now add one more layer. Let's put it above this one. And I will tap and hold here to select the previous violet color. Let's now increase the size a little bit. I'll set it to 5% and draw a rectangle. First we need to draw a line that will go horizontally. Let's also tap on the canvas so it goes straight. Then we need to duplicate this layer. Go to transformation, tap on this green circle and enter the angle for rotation. It will be 60%. Now let's move it and make this angle. We just need to match these two lines, like this. Then duplicate this layer. Go back to transformation. Flip it horizontal. Switch from snapping to magnetics. And drag it to the left, like this. I will zoom in to match it. Now we can merge these three layers for the triangle and also center it. I will first move it up like this. Now activate snapping. And put it here. Maybe it may go even more up. We will get this. Let me just grab a razor. It is set to soft brush. And I will erase this tiny part under the head. Like this. Let's also drag it down to put it under the light circle. Now we can add another layer. Let's create it below this one. To draw a few more triangles. But this time, I'm going to use a dashed line. It'll be this one, called lines. Let's select the brush size for it. It can be set between 3 and 4%. Let's also draw a horizontal line first. Wait a second. Tap on the canvas. And then do exactly what we did with the previous triangle. So I'm duplicating the layer, rotating it to 60 degrees. Let's match the corner. Then duplicate this layer. Flip it horizontal. And move it to the side. We can just match it this way. I'll remove magnetics. And that's it. We also need to merge the layers. And after that, adjust the location of this triangle. Let's move it this way. I will enable snapping and center it according to the head. So I'll put it here. We can now duplicate the entire triangle and drag it up. It is in freeform transformation. I will stretch it to the sides. We can remove snapping. I want to match it here on the sides, but make it go up. To remove this part below, I'm going to use rectangular selection. Just deactivate color fill, outline it this way, swipe 3 fingers down, and click Cut. Let's repeat this step. I'll duplicate the rectangle again. Also drag it higher. We can actually try to match one side first. And then stretch it. Like this. We will need only the top part. So let's also outline it. And then cut. Now in the middle line, I want to add circles with the same color. We just need to change the brush into circles. Set its size to 3% or maybe 4%. Start drawing from here and go to the right. We can tap on the canvas and match it on the opposite side. We will get this. Before we finish the design by adding more elements to it, let's adjust the existing ones. I will select these 2 layers, click on the arrow, and with magnetics, drag them down. Make sure it goes strictly vertical. Like this. Let's also move these elements. We have them on layer 9. I will also move it a bit down. Now it's better. We can also make this light circle bigger. It is on the layer 12 at my end. So I will also transform it uniformly. Then activate snapping and center it. Now I will select all the other layers with triangles and these dotted lines. Also resize it. I will match it with this element. Now it looks better. Let's finish erasing this triangle. It's this one. So I will grab the eraser and remove these lines. Keep the shadow around the head. Like this. Before we fix this triangle, let's go ahead and duplicate it. Then flip it vertical. Switch back to magnetics. And start dragging it down. Just a little bit. We can match it like this. Then I will duplicate it once again and drag it even more down. And let's do it again. One last time. Like this. The distance can be smaller. can definitely merge these layers with triangles. Pick a razor. And erase it around the head. We can now go back to this triangle and also delete this part. Now it is totally fine. We can create a layer above this circle. Then pick orange color number 1. Circle's brush is already selected, so we just need to change its size. Let's try to increase it. 10% is fine. So we can add moon phases. I'll tap here. We can move it. So I will put it right on the intersection. We can make an imaginary vertical line and put another circle. After that, change the brush to crescent stamp. That's too big, so we need to lower the size. It's still big. I think around 4%. I will tap first. And if you need to move it, you will need to outline it first. I'll put it here. Let's keep magnetics, we will need it later. So I'm just duplicating the layer. Then flipping it horizontal. And dragging it to the left. Like this. Our design is almost ready. We just need to fill this area at the bottom. So I will merge these two layers. We can also merge these. But I'm keeping these two shapes separately, as I already said before. We can just create a layer. Let's put it right above the frame. Then I will select violet color number 2 and square line brush. Let's make it very low size to make very thin line. 2% will work. Let's first draw a circle somewhere here. Also make it perfect by tapping. And after that we can scale it. Let's now go to center it with snapping. I will move it upper. I think we can make it bigger. Maybe even bigger, like this. Then I will go to selection and outline the lower part of it with a rectangle. Then cut it. Now I will just draw a straight line. It will go from here all the way down. Let me also tap. Let me move it so it will be straight in the center. Now I will select layer number 10, duplicate it. Switch to magnetics. Remove snapping. and start dragging it carefully down. Like this. Let's now duplicate it. Drag this one down. Duplicate it once again. And also move it like this. Let's now select these 3 layers. And make them narrow. Now it is fine. And on the right side, I want to make it orange. So I'm changing the color. Let me create a new layer so we can merge this. Then click on the plus icon and draw another tiny rectangle using selection. Let's make it like this. Then click color fill and it will get colored. Now if we click on the arrow, we can first transform it in freeform and then switch to distort. With magnetics, I will drag it up like this. And put it slightly above these shapes. We can move it even closer. Then I will duplicate the shape and put it in this space. Let's duplicate it again and also move it down. This is what we will get. Let's go ahead and merge these layers. After that, create another one. Select violet color number 2 and squares brush. For this one, the size is set to 10%. I will start drawing a vertical line from here. Let's try to match it with the end of this line. I will tap to make it go vertical. Then duplicate it. And with magnetics, move it to the right side. Then merge it. Duplicate. And move it more to the right. Then merge again, duplicate, and also move. Let's duplicate it one last time, and move again. Let's now merge all these 3 layers. Remove magnetics, switch to freeform, and stretch it a little bit. We can put it this way. Then we can duplicate this one. Activate magnetics again, so we can move it to the right. Let's just go to this layer with this arc and erase this part under the head. Now that we have all the elements inside the shape, let's finally add the textures. I will tap here on the top layer and after that insert the file with the halftone texture. You will find it in the tutorial bundle. I will make it vertical by rotating and fit it to the canvas. Let's also alpha lock it. This violet color is selected, so we can go back to the layer and click Color Fill. The texture will pop up. I think I will just flip it vertical. And after that I want to remove it from the area outside this dark selection. We can do it the following way. Go to the layer with the base, get it selected here, remove Color Fill, and after that invert the selection. Then go here, also tap on the menu, and click Clear. It will disappear on the sides. Now I will go back to the base layer, create another one above it, and just add a clipping mask. We can now pick white color from the background and add craft paper texture. Just put it all over the canvas, like this. Finally, I will go to the background color and also make it pure black. I think it will be better if we lower the opacity of the texture. And now, after this final step, our design is complete. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. For more tutorials and brush sets, check out my Patreon page. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon!